We are as old as time. The soul of man began with us. We are Africa.
Welcome back. Anti-government protesters in Russia say they are planning another rally later this week. Tens of thousands of people march in Moscow at the weekend despite announcements of sweeping political reforms. A good number of Russians are challenging the Kremlin for the first time, but CNN's Phil Black met one woman who has been standing up to the authorities for years. Let's look at this report for more on that.
Been stirring up trouble with Russian authorities for 46 years, and for that she has a special place in the hearts of many Russian people. This is the end-of-year party for the human rights organization she helped found in the 1970s, the Moscow-Helsinki Group. She tells its staff the next year will be a turning point in their fight. This is why the 84-year-old speaks with optimism. The recent anti-government rallies that have brought tens of thousands of people to the streets.
Now they waked up.
When you first saw those crowds on Bolotnaya Square, what did you think? What did you feel at that moment?
It was great. I was absolutely happy when I saw it.
For decades, Alexieva worked with other dissidents, risking their lives to expose the human rights violations of the Soviet Union. The empire's collapse brought hope, but then the realization she had a new adversary.
When Putin came, I thought, doesn't matter, it's normal. We should go a little bit back, yeah? But unfortunately, it's not a little bit. We turned back terribly.
Alexieva has directly engaged Vladimir Putin, who was previously president and is now prime minister, and very likely to be president again. And when her health allowed it, she fought his policies on the streets. She believes Putin rolled back people's rights, but brought economic prosperity, especially to those closest to him. She has a name for it.
Capitalism for friends.
For friends?
For friends, Mr. Putin, not my friends. When the standard of life began to rise, people said, oh, we don't need any rights. We live very good without rights. We like Putin. We do believe Putin.
But she says the Russian people have now changed and there's no going back.
If we have no human rights and freedom, we have no stability, we have no prosperity. Now many people know it. Many people know it. It's a new stage of our development to the democracy, and I do believe we will be a democratic country.
Ludmila Alexieva believes it will happen soon. She says it may not be in her lifetime, but recent progress has made her a very happy old woman. Phil Black, CNN, Moscow.
The Japanese government has blamed local authorities and the Fukushima power plant managers for the accident at the power plant in March. And the death toll in the Philippines continues to rise as such efforts continue. More than 1,400 people have been killed, while tens of thousands remain homeless. We have details in this World News Roundup by CFI.
The Japanese government is blaming local authorities and Fukushima power plant managers for the nuclear disaster that occurred in March. They say there were major flaws in the way they were prepared for a nuclear incident. A report suggests that TEPCO could have limited the fusion of fuel and rejection of radioactive substances. The death toll in the Philippines keeps rising as more and more bodies are discovered. Recent floods caused by mid-December's tropical storm have killed 1,249 people. Authorities have warned the figure could rise to 2,000. Rescue teams are continuing to search for more bodies in the mud. The region has been devastated. Tens of thousands of Filipinos have been displaced and are living in evacuation centers. On Monday, Israeli police arrested several ultra-Orthodox Jews in Beit Shemesh near Jerusalem following the assault of a policeman during demonstrations. At the root of the problem lies the debate on violence and discrimination against women. This sign put up by the ultra-Orthodox asks women not to hang around the street near the synagogue. India's anti-corruption activist Anna Hazare has gone on a new hunger strike today. His last one in the summer lasted 12 days and received popular support. His latest move comes as the parliament is set to vote on a new law proposal that requires the nomination of a republic mediator to fight corruption. But Hazare says it's not enough.
Some Christians in Nigeria are threatening to avenge the deaths of loved ones killed in the Christmas Day bombing outside a church claimed by the Boko Haram group. The bomb exploded while Christians were leaving the church and killed 35 people. We have details in the CFI report.
Christmas Day when the bomb exploded. And as they pray for the victims, they are no doubt saying that they could have been among them. Barely 24 hours after the anti-Christian attacks that devastated Nigeria, the faithful returned to celebrate a Mass at St. Therese Church. The bloodiest attack took place here, killing 35 people.
Please, don't take the shock for granted. Even the sound alone, at least you need Panadol. Abi, you need Panadol. Don't take it for granted that I'm okay, nothing happened to me, so I don't take Panadol.
Around the church, there was a large security detail deployed. Traces of the bombing are still visible. In the ruins, a cross and burned Bibles. The bomb was meant to kill as many people as possible. It exploded at the moment when worshippers were leaving Christmas Mass. The attack was claimed by the radical Islamist Boko Haram group.
You come to the church, deliberately to bomb the children of God on the Christmas Day, and we fold our hands. I'm not taking that. I'm not taking it.
Some of these Christians want to take revenge. This is what many observers fear. The Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs in Nigeria strongly condemned the attacks. But the inability of the government to control Islamic extremism could very well make the tension worse in a country that is already very divided.
Now time for the weather report, courtesy of the Central Forecast Office.
Zenith Bank, the biggest bank in West Africa, is expanding in the Gambia. Priding itself on excellent customer service delivery, Zenith Bank Gambia opens a new branch on number 9 Nelson Mandela Street in Banjul. For all your banking services and transactions for sending and receiving money through Western Union, Money Express and RIA, at Zenith Bank, we put people, technology, and service first. Zenith Bank, always in your best interest.
Well, before we draw the curtains on this edition of the news, a look once again at our headlines. Taiwan has provided money amounting to over $120,000 to cover the tuition fees of Gambian doctors pursuing postgraduate programs in Ghana. A Boxing Day inferno has reduced a skills acquisition center in Tujereng to rubble and left the over 90 women beneficiaries hopeless and desperate. Anti-government demonstrators in Russia have announced plans to stage another massive protest march despite offers of sweeping political reforms from the Kremlin. And the death toll from the tropical storm that lashed parts of Philippines is continuing to rise as authorities looking for bodies scour the affected areas. You can follow the day's stories and other